We live in an era where precise navigation services are absolutely essential for defense, disaster management, and even our everyday lives. But the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System has been facing some setbacks in the recent past, raising greater concerns over its effectiveness. Hello, students. Welcome to Drishti IAS. My name is Saloni Nanthiodia, and in this session, we'll talk about this recent failure and its wider implications on India. So let's see what's happened. So one of the satellites of NavIC, or Navigation with Indian Constellation, or the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, one of the satellites of this satellite system has lost its last working atomic clock. So the satellite was IRNSS 1F, and it has lost its last working atomic clock. Now we'll also talk about atomic clocks and understand why are they so important in these satellites. But for now, we need to know that because of this failure, because of this loss, this satellite will no longer be able to provide us with location data. It will not be able to help us with navigation data. And this is not the first time that NavIC has seen such a failure. These things have been happening for quite some time. And that's why we need to ensure that no such things happen in future. We need to identify what exactly the problem is and then work on it so that these things do not happen in future. So today we'll talk about NavIC, we'll talk about atomic clocks, and we'll see what needs to be done. Now, before we do that, very quickly, let me tell you that we have this course for you, which is the Studio GS Foundation live online course. Now, this is a foundation course, which means that your syllabus of both prelims and mains is going to be covered, and only in 14 months. Prelims and main syllabus in 14 months only. This foundation course is available to you at a very affordable price of only rupees 34,999. And if in future you wish to join the offline foundation batch at Drishti, then this fee is going to be adjusted in the fees of our offline foundation batch. So don't wait, admissions are already open. And if you wish to avail a further discount on this fee, then you need to use a coupon code, which is SALONI. Saloni, SALONI, all in capital letters only, and you will be able to get the maximum discount for yourself. So if you have any more queries, call us at 87501, and you can also download the Drishti Learning app and enroll into this course. Now let's come back to our discussion and understand what is NavIC. NavIC, or Navigation with Indian Constellation. Constellation of what? Constellation of satellites. This is like India's own GPS system. GPS belongs to the US. Now this NavIC, or IRNSS, is like India's own navigation system, which was built by ISRO. And it helps us in giving the information about location, direction, and timing services. So it's a satellite system which helps us with location, direction, and timing services over India and nearby regions. Nearby regions because it has a coverage of 1,500 kilometers even outside India. So these satellites are positioned over India. They help us with regional services. It can give us information about location, direction, and timing of all the things, of all the areas that are located in India and also around India, the Indian subcontinent, some parts of Middle East also, some parts of Southeast Asia also, because the coverage is 1,500 kilometers around India. So it has a good coverage. And at any point, it needs at least 4 satellites to give us all this information. Now, when this was visualized, when NavIC was visualized, 7 satellites were thought to be a part of this, were visualized to be a part of this. And for anything to work, for this service to work, we need to have at least information from at least 4 satellites. So this began in 2006, this project was initiated. And why was the need felt for that? So the need was felt in the Kargil War, during the Kargil War of 1999. Now, before that, we did not have any regional navigation service for India. We were relying only on GPS of US. And when during the war, we approached US for help to get some location data, US did not fully share the information. So we were left entering some blind spots because we did not have the precise location information, because it was denied to us. And that is why the need was felt that India needs to have its own self-reliance when it comes to critical infrastructure like this. In terms of disaster management, in terms of defense services, we have to be extremely self-reliant on ourselves. And that's why in 2006 we came up with NavIC. And then from 2013, these satellite launches began, because it's a satellite system, so satellites had to be launched. The satellite launch began. And in 2018, this became fully operational. So it all started in 2006, post the realization in Kargil war. It's like our own GPS system focusing on India. And if I talk about the positioning of the satellites used in NavIC, I told you there are 7 satellites. At any point we need information from 4 satellites, and these 7 satellites are placed in a way that it is a mix of geosynchronous satellites and geostationary satellites. So there are 4 geosynchronous satellites. There are 4 geosynchronous satellites and 3 geostationary satellites. Now understand the difference between geostationary and geosynchronous satellites. Geostationary satellites are fixed at the exact same location when looked by Earth. So if an observer is looking from the satellite at any given point from any given place on Earth, that satellite will appear to be fixed at the same location at all times, because it rotates along with Earth. So it is always fixed. It is always fixed at one spot. It has a circular orbit, it rotates along with Earth, and it is always fixed at one spot when observed from the Earth. Versus geosynchronous satellites. Geosynchronous satellites, they move slightly in the pattern of an 8. So these have an elliptical orbit, they move slightly, so at any given point they might appear to be slightly up, slightly down, or slightly sideways because of the pattern of 8 that they are following. But after one full day, they are going to come back to the same point. So they're not going to be at the same point at all times. Unlike the geostationary satellites, they're going to move a little, but after one full day, they are going to come back to their own spot. And these satellites actually help us with a wider coverage. These 1500 kilometers coverage that we have outside India also, they help us with this wider coverage. So we have a mix of geostationary satellites and geosynchronous satellites in NavIC. Now if we talk about the atomic clocks. So atomic clocks are like the heart. They are the heartbeat of these satellites. Because what information are we getting from the satellites? We are getting location services, we are getting these timing direction services from satellites. So these atomic clocks help us in giving these precisely accurate timings, because they use what? They use atoms. Atoms that vibrate at a constant rate. We use certain atoms like cesium or rubidium, and these atoms, they vibrate at a constant pace. There's a fixed pace of vibration. So we are able to calculate the timing or the location exactly precisely, because there's no delay in anything. This is a vibration at a constant rate of cesium or rubidium. So atomic clocks are very essential for these satellites, and whenever the atomic clock is going to fail, that basically tells us that we will not be able to get navigation data. Because what happens? We have to calculate the distance. We have to see where a certain place is located, so we have to calculate the distance. Distance is speed into time. So whenever this satellite is going to send a signal, we see how much time did it take to reach Earth and what was the speed of that signal. So speed of light basically. So when we multiply both the things, we'll be able to get the distance or the location, the data of that place. So if the atomic clock fails, then we'll not be able to get this information, we'll not be able to calculate the distance. So navigation data will not be provided to us. This is how essential these atomic clocks are. And they also have, they're very accurate basically, so they usually do not have any errors. And these errors, even if there's a minute error, these error happens like in millions of years. So a 1 billionth of a second error will also lead to meters of location error. So this is how precise these clocks are. Even if there's a single like 1 billionth of a second of error, it can lead to meters of location error. So you might be looking for coordinates of this place and the place might actually be here, but the GPS will show you that the place is here because of that error. But these errors are not so frequent. They happen in millions of years, but they do happen. But atomic clocks are very, very essential for providing these location services. So if the atomic clock has failed, we'll not be able to get the navigation service. Now, why do these failures keep on happening? I told you this is not the first time. We'll talk about other failures also. But why these failures keep on happening? One of the prominent reasons is that earlier satellites, they used imported atomic clocks. Atomic clocks are extremely essential, and earlier we were more reliant on imports. Now we are becoming more self-reliant. So India is also coming up with indigenous atomic clocks. Instead of importing atomic clocks, we are building our own atomic clocks. And these clocks, these imported ones, have showed reliability issues. And then the space environment, of course, there's radiation temperature that is also harsh. Because of these environmental factors also, we keep on seeing these failures. But one of the most prominent reasons over here was our imports, that we were relying more and more on imports. And now we have also started indigenizing the whole process. Next, if we talk about the satellite status right now, I told you at any given point we need information from 4 satellites to come in. If we look at the satellite status, so operational right now we have IRNSS 1B, 1C, 1I and NVS-01. This is the new age navigation satellite that we are building. IRNSS were the old ones and these are the new ones that we are building. So we have NVS-01 that is operational at the moment. The recent failure that we talked about was IRNSS 1F, where the atomic clock failed. Then if we talk about other clock failures also, then 1A, 1D, 1E and 1G, these clocks have also failed, and these are all very old satellites. And we need to understand that these satellites usually, they have a life of 10 years only. And I told you in the beginning that in 2013, what happened? Satellite launches began, like 1A, 1B, the satellite launches began. And they all only have a lifespan of 10 days. So they started, expiring in 2023, 24, 25, 26. So because 1F, this was launched in 2016. So 2026 March, it was set to expire. So, and this is also one of the major reasons of the, whole failure over here, because this became fully operational in 2018. NavIC became fully operational in 2018, but the satellite launches, they began in 2013. So the clock was already ticking because they had a lifespan of only 10 years. So by the time we reached 2018, half lifespan of the satellite was already gone. So this is also one problem that entire NavIC implementation has faced over here. Then if we talk about replacement failures, so whenever there's a satellite failure, we'll have to send in a replacement because the shelf life, the time span is only 10 years or more. So replacements also failed, like when we sent the replacement for 1H, that also failed. The launch was unsuccessful. Then even the new age satellite that we were building, NVS-02, this also failed. This was in fact the 100th mission of ISRO that failed, January 2025. So this was also not being able to place to the orbit. So these are some failures that have happened. Right now we have these operational satellites to help us with the navigation data. So it's not a full failure. NavIC is not a complete failure, but right now it is in a critical stage, and in the long term these replacements need to be sent in and the entire process has to be taken care of so that we don't have to face such failures anymore. And for that we'll have to understand, both ISRO and the government will have to understand what exactly is the challenge. Is it a technological challenge? Is it a funding issue? Is there an implementation delay? Or is that a combination of all these things? Because in the recent past, ISRO has been facing some failures in certain things, in certain launches. So ISRO will also have to look into the matter, and government will also have to look into the matter, that is adequate funding being provided to ISRO or not. And then the entire implementation also has to be smooth. So that was all for this discussion. I hope you enjoyed everything that we discussed over here. Now we'll look at a practice question for prelims. With reference to India's NavIC system, consider the following statements. 1. NavIC is a global navigation satellite system similar to GPS. 2. Atomic clocks in satellites are essential for accurate positioning. 3. The recent failure of IRNSS 1F was due to malfunction of its atomic clock. Choose the correct statements. A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. 1 and 3 only, or D. 2 and 3 only. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.